Welcome, Cancer, to your June tarot reading. Let's get to it. Let's see what the cards have in store for you for this June. We're going to do the Celtic Cross, and then we're going to look into some angel cards and see what your guides, your ancestors, and your guardian angels, how they can support you, any guidance they have for you, and also the strengths that they see in you. So let's get to it. Where you are right now, learning the skills to pay the bills. Just really learning what it is that you need to do to fill in any gaps in order to move forward in the way that you want. And that is so wise. And I'm so glad that you're doing that, Cancer, because that is how to do it. That is absolutely how to do it. My name is AJ. I'm an anxiety and trauma life coach. You can find all my tags below of where else to find me. I'm mostly on Instagram. I will be doing tarot reading live in Vancouver at the Anime Revolution Convention this summer, which will be absolutely amazing. If you're into anime and in Vancouver this summer, please come find me and get a reading done. It is absolutely life-changing. But let's get and focus on you right now. So, Cancer, what is crossing you? Not feeling like you have wiggle room. Not feeling brave enough to actually do the things and invest in yourself in order to move forward. And that usually when we're holding on to things and we're afraid of letting go, it's because we are worried that there isn't good things out there for us, or that when we're afraid to let things go, we're afraid that there won't, like, just think about it. When you are like letting go of old clothes, you want to bring in new ones. When you're letting go of old jobs or old relationships, one of the biggest fears that keeps us stuck and staying where we are right now is the fear that there actually isn't something better out there for you. But when you're doing this, when you're learning the skills to actually fill in those gaps, those holes, those parts of yourself that have been unseen, that require that reflection for forward movement, that's what's going to help you to really work on letting go and trusting that the universe has your back and can support you. What has been lying beneath the surface, the unconscious? What are the limiting beliefs and things that are running in the background, maybe even unaware to you? And that is your need for rest, that you do need to rest in order to have that emotional regulation, in order to have that reflection and trust. We need to take the time to rest and reflect, maybe mourn our losses as well. What are you trying to manifest, dear Cancer? Hierophant, get some structure, some support, some guidance where you can know what to expect going forward. Getting a little bit of predictability back into your life. In the distant past, we have 10 of Pentacles, like coming from a place of strength. And this doesn't necessarily mean like you're full of money, like you're Mr. Moneybags, but it's coming from a place of emotional strength, of support, of this is what you want to build going forward too. In the near future, we have your letting go of your anxieties. It's 10 of Swords reversed. And that is 10 of Swords reversed it's a good card, but it feels a little bit chaotic to go through because letting go of your anxieties requires you to actually look at them, to see where they come from. And that is, it's emotionally laborious work, but it is so worth the effort. So as you go through this self-reflection process, and which come through rest and meditation, it will be easier to let these go. You can't really let a feeling go unless you process it. And that comes from taking that time and that reflection. So how are you doing right now, dear Cancer? Like, what is your attitude right now? How are you feeling? You're really looking for some good connections to move you forward. Something that's relationships, places, jobs, and situations that really speak to your soul. And there were two cards that came out. That is really where the magic is at. Because when you're really speaking to your soul, when you're connected with your purpose, and it doesn't necessarily, like, you could be a bank teller and connecting to your purpose, meaning that you're serving people every day, or that you're talking to people every day, or that you're engaging in life, or just showing up in the relationships of with the people that you do life with. And that is really magical. That's the magic of life. And that is part of finding your purpose. And it doesn't have to, we often have more than one purpose. And some of them are fancy, and some of them are just more about your life experience. Anything that enriches you, teaches you, nurtures you, that's a part of your purpose. Like, it's not necessarily just one thing. So let's look at your environment. What's going on around you that's affecting your state of mind? Maybe a little bit of ungratitude. And, when you're working so hard and doing all the things, and people can take you for granted. So maybe taking responsibility or taking ownership of all the good things you do also allows other people to see how hard you work. And when you say no, or that's not within my bandwidth, or I don't have the capability to do that right now, what that does is it requires other people to pick up the pace in their own life. And that's a good thing. So knowing that your no is someone else's yes, either that's an opportunity that you don't want and they can say yes to, or some responsibility that you just can't handle or don't need to, that they should. And giving them, when you don't do it for them and they have to do it for themselves, well, then you've just kind of forced them to up level. And that's a good thing. And it's up to them whether they choose to do that or not. And what are your hopes and fears right now, Cancer? I think this is the one that's popping up. That you're making the wrong choice. That you're making the wrong choice. So many of us, especially in North America, we grow up in this kind of binary environment where everything's right or wrong or good or bad. But a choice is just a choice. A choice is just a choice. And if you don't like that choice, you know what you do? You just make a different choice. It's no big deal. And then you learn from that experience and move on. But we will never get over imposter syndrome. We will never get over self-doubt until we're prepared to make the wrong choice, until we're okay with ourselves making mistakes and trusting in our own resiliency to learn what we need to from that mistake and move forward, because that's how the human brain works. That's just how we were designed. And let's look at your outcome, and then we'll talk to our angels and spirit guides. All right, outcome, 9 of Wands. Almost there. Almost there. The first year in my business, I had 9 and 10 of Wands and 9 of Swords and 8 of Swords and 10 of Swords show up again and again and again and again. And it was so frustrating. But there's a reason why we have all these expressions like as darkest before the dawn. And that's not trite, and it's not to negate how you feel right now. But of course it's darkest when it's dawn, because we have to trust that it will break for you. You have to trust that things will go forward, and that you've been making those right decisions all along, or navigating when you did make the wrong decision, learning from it so that you could make the next decision even better. And when you're at that point, when you have been doing all the work and yet to see the payoff, it's always the dangerous part in any business venture, in any learning adventure, in any healing journey, when you know that you have invested in the work and you're waiting for it to blossom. I used to freak out every spring when I'd plant seeds. In fact, I would overplant the seeds and kind of crowd them out, because even when it came to gardening, I had a hard time trusting that what I planted would grow. But there are scientists that ensure that they do. There's a whole science behind that. You plant the seed, you water it, the sun comes, and when the seed is good, it grows into whatever that you planted. And that is an act of faith and an act of trust that you're planting seeds and that they will grow. And it's that moment before you see that first little sprout that is the hardest. And that's where you might be after investing all this work. But let's pull another card, because that's kind of a hard one. And honestly, I couldn't make this up. The next card I pulled was 10 of Cups. So and that's often the case, that we feel this right before we get to that. And when it breaks, we see that effort was all worth it. And yeah, it hurts. Like, he's got a bandage on his head. It hurts. It takes some effort. It takes willpower. It takes so much grit for anything that's worth striving for. But there's a reason you're looking for it. There's a reason you're doing all this work. There's a reason that you're striving for it, because of the payoff. So let's look to our angels for some advice, some love, and some guidance. Thank you, angels, for guiding us. Thank you, angels, for supporting us. Let's see. Cancer, what strengths do you have right now in your life? Synchronicity. Trusting in the synchronicity, trusting your gut, trusting our guidance. When you walk down one street that you don't normally, but you feel guided to, and you meet that friend, that's a synchronicity. Or when you think of someone right before they call you or text you, that's a synchronicity. Trusting the synchronicities in your life is step one for trusting those decisions. And it helps you trust to get from here to here. And when we see those synchronicities, that gives us the support to stay with it, even though we might feel just so burdened right now. So thank you, angels, for showing us our strength. What blessings does Cancer hold in their heart for June? Honoring their beauty. Archangel Jophiel, and she's the one I work with a lot. I adore her. Thank you, Jophiel, for helping me discover my inner and outer beauty. Because there's both what makes life rich, right? Enjoying the outer beauty that surrounds you, making your environment to reflect a place of peace and of your personality, and enjoying who you are and becoming the person that you want to be. That is a beauty, and that is a strength. We often don't realize how our beauty strengthens us, and we all have inner beauty. And what is the challenge? What is the challenge, the part of our life that we may need some guidance or some focus on to achieve the goals that we want? And that's trusting your vibes. Trusting your vibes. Thank you, angels. I choose to trust my intuition and your guidance. Trusting your vibes, that's a skill, and it takes practice and patience. But your angels, your guardian angels, your guides, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your whole spiritual support team, they're asking and waiting for you to ask them for help. And the thing is about spirit, it always works by consent. You must ask for them to really enter in your life. So if you need that extra support, ask and it will be shown to you. Trust your vibes, trust your feeling. There's so much that the body and spirit pick up on that may not make logical sense. Like that one example of walking down one route instead of the other. It could save your life. You could find your love. You could meet a friend, or just see something a little bit different that just separates one day to the next, which is also life-giving. Thank you, Cancer, for being in this reading. If this was of service to you, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Follow me on Instagram. I'm more bigger there. I have more of a social presence there. And if you're in Vancouver, come check me out, or check out like the anime convention. It's going to be so much fun. There's always a great community there, a lot of supportive people. And come get a reading one-on-one with me, live and in person. Peace from my heart to peace to yours, and I will see you soon.